Later, we will see why I put these metal handles. Okay, let's see how I put this false ceiling on the garage ceiling. This garage has a tiles roof that goes on fiber cement corrugated sheet, and the pieces of fiber cement corrugated sheet sit on top of concrete beams that run from side to side of the garage. And here we can see that under the concrete beams I put some wooden slats. These wooden slats, they are glued to the concrete beams. We will see it right away. And I also put rigid foam insulation boards. Here we see that I had to cut some notches where the fasteners of the fiber cement corrugated sheet go. I use slats like these. Well, actually pieces that are 2 meters 40 centimeters long. These slats are 7 centimeters wide and 18 millimeters thick. I marked on each slat where the fasteners of the fiber cement corrugated sheet go. I made one cut on each side. I clean the groove with a chisel. And now, once I had each slat prepared, with all its grooves cut, I used one of those heavy-duty construction adhesives. There are several brands. I applied a few beads of adhesive between the grooves along the length of the slat, keeping the glue slightly away from the grooves. For this demonstration, I don't need a large cartridge, so I use one of these smaller ones. This makes a thinner bead, so I put 3 instead of 2. These mounting glues are very thick, so you have to squeeze hard to get them out. Even if we use a caulking gun, it's quite difficult to extrude the mounting glue. I cleaned the dust from the concrete beams, and I glued the wood slats to the concrete beams. Since they were long slats, someone else helped me to put them against the beams. They are pressed against the beams, and I move them a little so that the heavy-duty construction adhesive adheres well and increases the contact surface. And now we can let go of the slat because it won't fall down. But then we have to wait 24 hours, or whatever the manufacturer of the heavy-duty construction adhesive we use says, until it is completely dry. Now, an extra trick. It is best to paint the tongue and groove wood paneling before laying them. So even if the tongue and groove move, we will always see the color of the paint in the joint. Well, surely we can get an idea of what I'm saying. But if we plan to apply several layers of paint, it's better to do a test first to ensure that the painted tongues will still fit into the grooves. Here is a sample that was painted after the joints were made. And we see that if the pieces move, an unpainted strip will be seen between them. So I glued all the wooden slats against the concrete beams with heavy-duty construction adhesive. I painted the tongue and groove wood paneling, and I began attaching the painted paneling to the slats with screws. The slats that I glued are quite wide, providing enough space to screw them correctly where the ends of 2 paneling pieces meet. Also, in some cases, it may be necessary to cut the pieces of paneling so that they go exactly from the middle of one of the slats to the middle of the other. In my case, I did not have to cut them. Before driving in the screws, I use this countersink bit to drill holes and countersink the wood. Because I directly screwed the tongue and groove paneling, there are metal tongue and groove clips that fit into the grooves and are screwed into the slats. And then these clips are concealed by the paneling pieces. Now let's observe that I also installed some thin strips. I decided to leave a gap between certain paneling pieces. I left this separation every 9 pieces. I left these gaps to facilitate the removal of any part of this false ceiling if needed in the future. For instance, this proved useful when making this video. Well, this is it. I did not record how I did it at the time, but I think it was clear how I put this false ceiling glued against the concrete beams. But I hope I never have to remove the glued slats. Thanks for watching the video, and if you like my videos, subscribe to my channel and click the bell.